Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So into this video, we're going to be tackling the third of the 8 spirit horrors in Eastern Region Part 2. Now if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel, I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So, looks like we have another riddle to solve, and it did tell us to go back to Cyrus's hometown, to Himika's house, to check out the 2 dogu, so that we can answer the riddle. And so, if you read the left and the right, they correspond to numbers. And if you add both of them together, you will get the number that I have punched in right there. Okay, so 4, 6, 4, 9. Alright, so we're in. Now, to take on one of these other horrors. Let me know in the comments below how you find these horrors and the difficulty. I do enjoy the extra challenge, and like I said, can't ever scoff at 53 stones. Alright, so let's see what this era of intimidation brings us. Now this particular boss is a sort of sea turtle. Genkame is going to be weak to wind and null to earth, and obviously resistant to water as well. So we bring a full wind team in this case. Now if you notice, I don't have any AF bar because I actually just tackled this on after taking on another boss, and so I'm a little bit unprepared, but I don't mind giving myself the extra challenge since at the end of the day, I do have a very strong wind team, and I also have AS Cloud. Now the first turn starts with a physical single target with confused status. It's not always confusion, but you know, there is a fairly high percentage, so be aware of that. Second turn is a fixed 2500 damage Earth AoE, and so you can't reduce that damage in any way, shape, or form. So I would highly recommend healing between turns 2 and 3 and casting Aurora Force on turn 1. Now the third turn is going to be a Magic Absorb minimal attack, but it does decrease int and power for whoever's out on the field. So my recommendation, depending on how quickly you can defeat the enemy, would be to rotate all attackers to the back and your healer to the back if you require. In my case, I don't mind taking the hit with Mariel because the amount of heal needed if you do use a wind zone and mitigation is minimal. Don't forget, you do have Morgana, who can cast Matsukunda, which reduces int, power, and speed by 15% on the boss. Also keep note, watch the boss's buffs, because it does buff itself regularly. I think it's either every turn or every other turn. And so if you notice the stacks get a little bit out of control, make sure you use Midnight Cendrillon for mana, who's a free character of course, to remove all the stacks. And as long as you have shielding up, then it's no problem at all. Also, Morgana does have an earth resistance buff when he comes in from VC, so that's a 40% extra earth shielding. And so you can see I took 0 damage with the 5th turn, which was an AoE large earth attack on your team. And so it's a 5-turn rotation, and it repeats back to the front. So the main thing is keep mitigation up. If you have shield with Aurora Force, perfect. If not, don't forget that mana can allow you to use physical, which is that 35% physical buff shielding plus large regen. And then just use Midnight Cendrillon to remove stats while using Morgana's Matsukunda. Mana does act faster than Morgana, so you're in no danger if you cast both Midnight Cendrillon and then followed by Matsukunda. Now in terms of doing an AF, I would recommend doing it either on turn 4 or turn 2, depending on what you would want to do. Because on turn 3, the boss is going to Magic Absorb with that power down, int down, and you're going to have problems dealing enough damage. I did try a couple times before filming this particular recording, and if you do let turn 3's int power debuff hit you, you won't generate nearly enough power and damage to end the boss. So you can see, again, I'm just going to let mana take turn 3's hit, because at the end of the day it's not very much damage. And don't forget that turn 4 is only a physical single target and itself heals itself and can cause status again. With 2 stacks of power and int boost on the boss, you shouldn't have any worries about getting completely killed unless, again, you don't have any shields up or you didn't apply any debuffs. Also, of course, I do have Wind Zone activated, so I do realize I have an additional benefit that way as well. Note that this video is longer than expected only because, like I said, I had to build up my AF bar from half to full, in which case after that I will activate my AF bar. Okay, so we're going to use the status shield move from Claude just to make sure we don't get confused on turn 1. It's just like Rosetta's, guarantees status shield 1 time, and that's perfect for this particular battle. And now we do have a full AF bar. So keep in mind that we are going to apply wind resistance debuff with AS Claude, and then we're just going to use Heavenly Dance over and over again with Azami. We will also use High Wind Booster as well as Demonic Thrust on turn 1 so that we can have full power damage from Dragon Assault on turn 2. Miracle Punch does do 2 guaranteed hits and critical being that the enemy is weak to the attack. And if you note the debuff of wind on the enemy, you can actually apply both Culmination Winds as well as Der Freisch or whatever you call it from AS Claude. They don't stack quite as well, but you can do so if you want the extra damage. And we have our Sweet Tooth AF finisher. And the battle is ended. So, the boss doesn't have extreme amounts of life compared to some of the other horrors we've encountered so far. I would estimate anywhere like, 10 to 12 million. And so, like I said, if you do have a nice wind team, and to be fair, we do have a couple of free characters, making it a lot easier to tackle wind weak bosses as opposed to some of the other elements where, you'll have to pull from the gacha or, so on and so forth. Alright, and we get Miyake's Katana. So let's see what this particular weapon does in terms of benefits. I know the first couple of weapons has heal and does either enhanced damage or something like that. So let's bring up the menu. And this is for the Katana. So it applies pain status, which is not bad. And when pain is on an enemy, increased damage for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.